Hello and welcome to another lesson of Arabi bil iPad. Today we're going to be talking about nominal sentences or al-jumle al-ismiye. This is a foundational topic, so let's jump in. In Arabic there are two types of sentences: nominal sentences or al-jumle al-ismiye, or verbal sentences, al-jumle al-fa'aliye. Today we're only going to focus on nominal sentences. We're going to be using this term a lot, al-jumla al-ismiya, so it'll help to know and understand its root. Can you guess? Al-jumla, the first term, is the definite form of jumle, or sentence. And the second term, al-ismiya, stems from ism, or noun. So al-jumla al-ismiya is any sentence that begins with a noun or a pronoun. Just like in English, sentences in Arabic have a subject and a predicate. The subject is called al-mubtada, and this predicate is called the khabar. Notice that this is the same word for information, which makes sense because the predicate tells us information about the subject. Let's get started with some examples. Those will usually help solidify things. Salwa taskun fi Florida. How would you translate this into English? Salwa lives in Florida. Since this sentence is about Salwa, it makes sense that Salwa is the subject or the mubtada, and everything else is the khabar. Taskun fi Florida. والدتي تعمل في نفس الجامعة. والدتي تعمل في نفس الجامعة. In English, this says, my mother works at the same university. Since this sentence is about my mother, it makes sense that والدتي is the mubtada and everything else is the khabar. أنا من حلب. This is a slightly different sentence. Notice it doesn't start with a noun but a pronoun, but we treat it just the same. It's still a nominal sentence. In English, it means I am from Aleppo. And since the sentence is about me, it makes sense that أنا is the mubtada and everything else is the khabar. هم مشغولون بالمكتب. This is another sentence that starts with a pronoun. هم, they, are busy at the office. Since this sentence is about them, it makes sense that هم is the mubtada and everything else is the khabar. هل الأستاذ ممل? Is the professor boring? Gee, I hope not. Who is this sentence about? It's about the istaz. Don't let the hal, which is the interrogative particle, confuse you. The istaz is the subject or the mubtada, and mumil is the khabar. Let's do this one. Dimashq Medina Qadima. Oh, Damascus is a beautiful city. It's also an old city. Dimashq Medina Qadima. So in this sentence, which is about Damascus, it makes sense that Damascus is the mubtada and Medina Qadima is the khabar. Let's review the sentences we just covered. Salwa taskun fi Florida. والدتي تعمل في نفس الجامعة. أنا من حلب. هم مشغولون بالمكتب. هل الأستاذ ممل؟ دمشق مدينة قديمة. Notice that they all begin with either a noun or a pronoun. What else catches your eye? You may have noticed that the first two sentences contain verbs. Don't let that confuse you. Even if a sentence contains a verb, they could still be a nominal sentence as long as it begins with a noun. Well, you may be wondering, how could a sentence not have a verb? In Arabic, the verb to be in the present tense is implied. So if you translate the third example, literally it says, I from Aleppo. But in Arabic, the am is understood even though it's not explicitly written, so the correct translation is I am from Aleppo. Nouns and adjectives in the mubtada and khabar must agree on gender, مؤنث or مذكر, and number, جمع or مفرد. Let's go over some examples that make this point very clear. You might want to hit pause so that you could read through these examples on your own and think about the gender and number of each sentence. Pay special attention to the fifth sentence. البيت كبير. The house is big. السيارة جميلة. The car is pretty. الطلاب مشغولون. The students are busy. الطالب مجتهد. The student is diligent. الصور قديمة. The photos are old. الشوربة ساخنة. The soup is hot. Did you get these right? Notice that the fifth example, الصور قديمة, قديمة is a singular feminine adjective that's modifying a plural, الصور, which are the photos. And the reason for this, if you remember, صور is a non-human plural, which means it takes on a singular feminine adjective. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Make sure to ask questions in the comment section below and tune in to the next one on where we'll be talking about al-idafe.